Hey, everybody. Well, I finally got my answers from everybody, from the governor's office, from the health department, I finally talked to the Boardman Township Police Chief today. Talked to the sheriff yesterday, know where he stands, what he's going to do. And, I wish I could come on here and give you guys some good news. At least once, but I do have a little bit of good news for this area anyway. But and it's probably the same in your areas. And that is, I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. It's so small that it ain't gonna mean nothing because you still got all the face diaper wearing scaredy cats that are gonna cause the problem. That's who's causing this problem, folks. Make no mistake about it right now. It's not the governor, it's not the cops, it's not the health department. It's everybody that's wearing that mask because they scared you to death about COVID-19. Well, let me tell you something, folks. They've been scaring us to death all my life with something. All my life. Ask anybody around my age what was going on back in the 60s and 70s. Anybody know? They had us afraid of the biggest boogeyman in the world. All of us Americans, and even more than that, but mainly us Americans. But that was another part of their brainwashing. They told us how every Russian is evil, communist people, and they want all Americans dead. They told us that the Russians had the nuclear weapons and we have the nuclear weapons and we've got them pointed at each other. And at any second, the world could be ended by the push of a button from two clowns, one sitting in a presidency and the other sitting in whatever rule their leaders have at that time. I think it was a dictatorship. Because it was actual the USSR back then, Russia. And it's no longer that, it changed. But yeah, people, they had us so scared with that you can still buy houses today that's got bomb shelters in them. They sold the hell out of bomb shelters, people, keeping us scared to death that we were going to die in any minute. Well, bomb shelter people, if they fired off a bunch of nuclear weapons, would have only saved you as long as you had food and water in there that wasn't contaminated and that you could stay in there forever, according to their own bullshit. When we were kids, they used to tell us that it would only take about, I think they said, 3 nuclear weapons used on the earth and it would kill everything on it. It was a planet killer. And even the clown that invented this stupid nuclear weapon even said he fucked up. He made a weapon that could destroy a world. I don't know if any of it's true. This was just more brainwashing they feed us. And we just keep going along with it. Then the other, more lies, the lies just always coming out of these people, man. Let's stick with that. We had the Cold War. After the Cold War was over, we were into everything. I mean, Vietnam had just ended. Let's see. The one I love. I love this one. They tell us, they're sending up these 2 rockets. One of them, Voyager 1, they sent them up about 6 months apart in the 70s. But we're sending up these rockets, and they're going to fly out of the galaxy. And the whole time they're flying, they're going to be sending back pictures and information about each planet. They're going to fly around the planets and take photographs and know what they're made of and all this bullshit, people. And they sent these things out in the 70s. Now, they're still saying today that these things are outside our galaxy in the big space, like the big water on a lake or something. The big space where there's just so much of emptiness. And they've already made it to there. And they're still getting information from these things. And you people believe it. People in the 70s, a computer was the size of a freaking house. These corporations and stuff, they had whole floors of servers and computer hardware and shit that they needed to have a computer. You couldn't stuff a computer inside a Volkswagen. And that's how big they said these Voyager 1, Voyager 2 were. It couldn't possibly have been, people. That was back when they were still using reel-to-reel and shit, man, to run the computers. Now, they didn't have no digital back then, folks. No digital technology as far as cameras or anything like that. Hell, the 60s brought us into color by that time. I mean, I had pictures of me when I was a kid, and it was black and white because there was no colored photos at that time. Or only the rich had them or something. I don't know. But anyway, folks, these things, they say that now, they've been flying for how many years? I think it was in 76 or something. 77 when they sent them out. Hell, that's 50 years, people. These things been flying along, never had no maintenance done on them. They've been flying through what they say has extreme hot and extreme colds that we would not understand here on this earth, or could we live through it. And they've been flying at thousands and thousands and thousands of miles per hour. Okay? And they can still control this thing. They can control which way it goes and shit, they say. People, that is the biggest crock of shit. They're getting pictures back from this thing in digital. We didn't have digital back then. Who flew up there and changed the camera equipment on these Voyager 1, Voyager 2s? Just like the one time when they said one of the rovers on the Mars, the solar panels got covered up and everything died on it. And it was dead, worthless. Then all of a sudden, a storm came up and blew all the dust off. It's perfectly clean now. Not a speck of dust on it. Everything's back up and running perfectly. And you people believe this stuff. Just blows my mind, folks. We can't get a car to last long enough to get it paid off. You can't get a cell phone to last long enough to get it paid off, or the contract to end. They don't build shit like that. If they could, they probably wouldn't do it anyway. There ain't no money in it. But they most certainly cannot. They haven't built anything yet that isn't a structure that you maintain all the time that would last more than 40 years, 50 years. These cars don't, up here in the north, you can't, brand new car, man. 2017's already starting to rust out. 3-4-year-old car already starting to rust out up here. Now, I know down in Arizona, they don't rust down there in California, but I mean, you can't tell me, people, that you believe all this stuff. Then they move into this bullshit. I mean, it's one lie after another, keep us scared about everything. Well, they do. Same thing back in the 60s. They shoot fucking Kennedy in the head. Claim, that was one man. They killed him right on TV, make sure that trial never went through. And it was over. One man killed the president right in front of everybody on TV while people were videotaping it. Probably one of the most gruesome assassinations ever videotaped at that time anyway. But, and you all believed it. Pearl Harbor, y'all believed that was a sneak attack. Didn't have one of our damn brand new aircraft carriers sitting anywhere around there. But all them old World War I boats were all in there to be blown up because they wanted all brand new stuff for World War II. And they got it. I don't know if they made a deal with the damn Japanese to do that, or they just knew it was coming and let it happen. But all them men died. All them people, innocent people who lived in Hawaii, died that wasn't even in their fight. You believed it. Just like you believe the tower story that Bush told you. You still believe that. This stuff ain't going to change people. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I figured out what I'm going to get out of even going to our representatives and trying to get help out of them. Everything they're doing right now, folks, is intentional. Everything. The fact that they left, or that they put in their own mandate that there is a medical exemption for people with breathing problems and other things. The fact that they put that in there was nothing but an illusion to make you people believe they cared. They do not care, folks. They do not care. Just like you heard from that police officer in my video last night at the Eagle Mart. He's just following orders. He's just following order. Well, that's funny because that's the same thing the sheriff said. That's the same thing the police chief basically said. It's the same thing the Ohio Health Department said. And the governor's office won't even take my calls. But that's whatever. I knew I was being lied to, but I wanted to prove it. I wanted to prove it to myself as much as for you guys, man. I want you guys to understand this. None of this is being done on the fly. But that's what they want to tell you. Just like the police chief at Boardman this morning. He's wanting to, there's so much going on. The one bit of good news I want to tell you guys, none of them, not the sheriff, not the Boardman Police Department, or the health department, the health department, hell, they're behind. Neither one of the police department or the sheriff's department told me that they told me that neither one of them was going to enforce any mask laws. If people call them about mask laws, they tell them that they're not going to come and to stop calling. So that is a good thing. If that's true, then that's a good thing. And I haven't heard nothing around here to believe he was lying to me, or either one of them. I believe that to be true. They're not going to force it. But still yet, that doesn't mean they violations of our article. See, this is what I threw in the police chief's face and the sheriff's face. And especially the sheriff, because he is a constitutionally elected official. He's the highest law enforcement officer in his county, elected by supposedly we the people. So this is the most important thing that should be in his head, because it's Article 18, U.S. Code 241, 242, and it's both of them, people. Deprivation of someone's rights under the color of law, and that's 241 or 242. 241 is conspiracy to violate somebody's rights under the color of law. And that's exactly what they're doing to us, people. The governor's mandate does that exact thing. He's using his authority under the color of what he calls law to violate everybody's rights in this state. And every governor that does it is doing the same thing. They can all be brought up on charges for this, folks. Now, even if we have to wait until this is done and over with, when they finally say that the national threat is over, we might have to wait until then to get their asses hung. But let's put it like this. In those two laws, or in those two codes, those codes can end if depending on if somebody is harmed or if somebody dies in the process when this is happening, those two charges can end with life imprisonment for these officers and any public officials that use law or that violates people's rights under the color of law. It can lead to lifetime imprisonment and even the death penalty. That's how important this title is, and how important it was that it was put in place to ensure that people like the governor would not take it in his own hands and claim having the law to violate people's rights under that. That's exactly why Title 18 is put in place, people. Or Title 18, U.S. Code 241, 242. And right now, everybody in this country has had these rights violated. And it was a conspiracy. But you can't say this whole thing was not a conspiracy, because I've proven it in the last few days. None of them's going to do anything to stop it or to help. None of them. So that makes this a conspiracy, folks. They are all conspiring to make this happen. And it don't matter. It don't matter who you think you are. They've tied these people's hands. They've done told. Everybody keeps telling, man, even at the health department, the woman there told me, hey, look, I'm just doing my job, trying to keep food on my table for my kids and my family, and that's all I'm doing. And I told her, I said, lady, that was the same thing the Nazis did over there in Germany when they was burning the people in those ovens. They were just doing their job, doing what they were told so they could keep the food on the table and everything and keep their families, a roof over their families' head. That's all they said they were doing too. Doesn't make it right. You could throw Jesus and God in these people's face, but they're ungodly. They don't have God in their heart. I don't know what they have in their heart, but it certainly ain't Jesus. They don't have Jesus in their heart, because there would be one of them at least trying to help me. One of them. But they've all been told to stand down. So the way I see it, if they're not going to do their jobs, they're not going to enforce the mask and stuff, what are we paying them for, folks? That's called fraud. Or extortion. You could call it extortion, back like the way the mob used to do around here. If you had a business or something that, I don't know how many years ago, 70, 80 years ago, if you didn't pay them their protection money, they couldn't guarantee you wouldn't get hurt. It's basically the same thing these guys are doing. They've been paid to let what happened happen. And they're going to let it happen, folks. And I've heard, people told me, even neighbors around here, our Boardman police officer, they're good guys. They're good guys. I can show you videos to prove you wrong on some of them. And now with the lack of them, they're in dereliction of their duty. If they're going to let my disability be discriminated against, the American Disability Act of 1978, they don't care about that. As long as they keep getting their paycheck and they can go over here at night, make some time and a half off of the taxpayers, and work as a security guard at Eagle Mart or Giant Eagle over here. And who knows how much Giant Eagle pays them too, but they call it overtime. And I'm sure that officer, probably his base pay is, I didn't see his rank, but it's probably, and I'm going to find out, believe me. But his base pay pays probably $40,000, $50,000 a year if he's lucky. Probably ain't even that high. And I bet he puts in about gets $100-some thousand a year pushing overtime. What do you want to bet? If he's been here any time at all. But I am. Matter of fact, everybody knows I'm broke. Doesn't mean I can't get money to pay for what, and I'm sure they're going to make me pay hard and heavy for it. When I start FOIA requesting backgrounds, if there's anybody that's had any complaints put in on them, what happened after the investigations, how much money they make a year, with the rank and everything, all the name of everybody is, and I'm going to post it online. Let everybody know what kind of money these guys make, because I'm sure you guys think they don't make no money. But there's a reason why they do what they do and just simply follow orders, because they make good money. Now, what I was going to say is I can get the money, together to pay for the FOIA requests and stuff. But I'm sure I'm probably going to hear something like what Sheriff Blakely told me down in Limestone County when I started FOIA requesting things. I needed a subpoena from a judge to get body cam footage or any kind of information from his office. He found out that was wrong. But they'll try to charge you $60 for this, $50 for that, thinking they're going to just break you so that you won't come and get the information. Or they'll give me a reasonable price on it and I'll get the information and get it out there. But even if I have to, folks, I can go on YouTube, slap up a damn GoFundMe page for FOIA request information money, and I can get it. Hell, there people throw it at me. I'm sure about that. I ain't worried about that. But it's going to happen. I didn't want to go there, but when you finally get to the point that these guys are all in it together, man, they are the devil's herd. There is no question about that. The devil's got this whole thing, COVID, lockdown, everything. That's all the devil. And everybody that's helping him is the devil's herd, folks. I don't care if they're wearing a badge on their uniform. If they're helping this to go through and what's going to come out the other side, they could have a cross hanging around their neck. Doesn't mean nothing. They're a part of the devil's herd. Period. You can think what you want. This battle that's going on right now, this whole thing is between good and evil. And you're either going to be on one or the other side. You ain't going to get to straddle that fence, folks. You're either going to be on one or the other side. And you're going to get to pick. You're going to get to pick. You won't have no choice in that. But once you make your decision, you got to stick with it. You got to ride that pony out. So let's see what happens. I know what side I'm going to be on. The side I've been on for a while now. And I'm protected by him, so I ain't worried about none of this other crap. I'm just trying to figure out how far the devil herd's going to go with the illusions they like to put out, like that they care about the people. If they cared about if they cared about the people at all, folks, they're driving you insane with making you wear the mask. They're driving you insane. And believe me, with the lockdowns, that's going to even drive you even more insane. And folks, another thing, the last time they locked us down, what time? Do you remember what the price of fuel was? It's down about right where it is right now and where I'm at, $1.70 something a gallon. Even Trump was bragging about how low the fuel prices were. Well, that's because nobody's going to be allowed to go anywhere to do anything. So they don't need no high prices of fuel because nobody's going to buy it anyway. And when they lock the roads down this time, you guys are going to understand what that means. So, I don't know, guys. You just keep pushing this stuff in your face and you guys don't care. Some do. Not enough that's going to make a change. The devil herd It is in everywhere like a bunch of ticks, got their heads buried into everything. And they know if they pull their heads out, they're probably going to die. So they ain't going nowhere. They're going to sit right there with the devil, and they're going to do everything they can to trash his country. And I'll tell you from now on, I don't ever want to hear somebody tell me they took an oath to uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestics, because if you tell me that, I'm going to look at you and say, get the fuck out of my face. I don't want nothing to do with it. So please don't tell me, and I won't have to say that. I took that stupid oath too, but I rescinded it a long time ago. I don't take no oath for nothing in this world. It's too much evil. And these people you've taken an oath with, they're pure evil. And they prove it all the time, folks. Prove it all the time. If Hitler wouldn't have done anything any different than the United States has done, if he would have lived and kept in control, he wanted everything to be under his control, the whole world. He wanted world domination, and that's exactly what the United States and the elitists have done. World domination, and even these stupid Americans are going to sit here until they have no, there's going to be nothing they can do to fight back. Nothing. They're just going to have to sit there and take it. They don't even have God on their side. So they're not even going to be protected by Jesus, man. This is going to be a slaughter like nobody's ever seen before. You watch and see, folks. If Jesus ain't in your heart, this ain't going to be good for you. You better get your heads right, get right with God, get right with Jesus. This is coming fast. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if this is the end of the world. We don't know if this is the time Jesus is coming back, for sure. All we know is look at evil. You're surrounded. The last time this world got this bad, it started raining real hard. You can't tell me we're not close to the end, but I don't know if it is the end of the, Jesus' time to come back. But we got to be close. You couldn't get no more evil in this world than's here today. That's for sure. I'm protected, folks. I ain't worried about these guys. I walk around like I own the place. I ain't worried about them. If they harm this body and they're evil, I go straight to heaven. I don't have to pass go and collect $200 either. I go straight in with a full pockets. So I'm not scared of evil. They've been trying to hurt me for a long time, and I'm still running free. So, good luck. You're going to need it. But it's just a different angle I'm going to have to take now, folks. I might keep these damn Watachi undercovers going. I don't know if I'll keep messing with that or not. I just want to keep pointing at evil, man. Just keep pointing at that evil. Maybe once you guys start seeing more of it, you'll believe what I'm telling you. Because it's everywhere. And it's even, these people don't even know they're a part of the devil's herd. They believe they're doing right. Because they've been brainwashed by Satan and the devil, man. They'll believe anything that guy tells them, or those two guys tell them. They'll believe it all. And they believe they're right. And not a damn one of them is protecting the Constitution. None of them. Don't let them fool you, folks. Don't let them fool you. You see what you got in giving consent in this last election, didn't you? Have you figured that one out yet? You guys still think the election isn't over? Oh, well. I got better things to do the rest of the day, so I'm taking it off. It's cold and snowing. So may God bless us all, folks. You guys have a good day out there, because I'm going to try it too. Till next time.